For example, so I had 8 cases yesterday, and I knew exactly what we needed, and I kind of looked at the list, and I said, all right, this 17-weeker has 8 lambs, and this. So I knew which were the cases that were probably more likely to yield what we needed, and I made my decisions according to that too. So it's worth having a huddle at the beginning of the day, and that's what I do.
I never did, but I think I've witnessed some of the other technicians work with the doctors. I remember I was on my day off and I went on my laptop and popped up and they were working, and I saw a message saying that the doctor had aborted a fully intact fetus. Fully intact, and Sem Express was sending it straight to the lab.
I literally have had women come in and they'll go in the OR and they're back out in 3 minutes. And I'm going, what's going on? Oh yeah, the fetus was already in the vaginal canal whenever we put her in stirrups. It just fell out.
Yeah, and so if we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, then we can make it part of the budget that any dissections are this, and splitting the specimens into different shipments is this. I mean, it's all just a matter of line items.
Usually they want both hemispheres intact with the brainstem, which usually doesn't happen. They'll take like an 80% intact or 70% intact, but you have to contact them and see if that would be okay.
Got a rate-limiting step of the procedure is calvarium. Calvarium, the head is basically the biggest part. Most of the other stuff can come out intact.
Right.
It's very rare to have a patient that doesn't have enough dilation to evacuate all the other
To bring them function, to bring the body cavity out, intact and all that.
And with the calvarium, in general, some people will actually try to change the presentation so that it's not a vertex. Because when it's a vertex presentation, you never have enough dilation at the beginning of the case unless you have a real huge amount of dilation to deliver an intact calvarium. So if you do it starting from the breech presentation, there's dilation that happens as the case goes on, and often the last you can evacuate an intact calvarium. So I mean, there are certainly steps that can be taken.
So they can convert to breech, for example, at the start of the...
Exactly. Under ultrasound guidance, they can just change the presentation.
Okay.
I was training with Jessica in the Alameda, and I've been doing it for a few weeks, so I kind of knew what I was doing, but kind of not. And it was really busy, and one of the doctors came in and she looked really frustrated. The medical assistants were with her, and I don't know, it's my deal to listen and see what's going on, and the doctor just says, if she can't calm down, I can't do the abortion. And I can't medicate her. Something like that, and she was just distraught.
The other thing that plays a tremendous part in this all is the dilation that you've obtained, and also how cooperative the patient is during the procedure.
Finally, the woman, she calmed down, and the doctor went in to perform the abortion. Takes a little while, and I'm in the hallway. I see the jar come out, goes into the path lab, and Jessica, I can hear her, is preparing it, rinsing out the jar, rinsing out the linen wrapping that catches it, dumping it in the strainer, rinsing it off, putting water in the pie dish, and getting it ready for the doctor. So then I hear her call my name. Hey, Ollie, come over here. I want you to see something kind of cool. It's kind of neat. So I'm over here, and this is the moment I see it, I'm just flabbergasted. This is the most gestated fetus and closest thing to a baby I've seen. And she's like, okay, I want to show you something. So she has one of her instruments, and she just taps the heart, and it starts beating. And I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at this fetus, and its heart is beating. And I don't know what to think.
Is there still circulation in the heart once you isolate it?
So, so there are times when after the procedure is done that the heart actually is still beating.
They induce fetal demise at about 20 weeks, 18 to 20 weeks. And so they inject digoxin into the fetus.
Right. I was actually going to ask about it because I want to make sure there's no digoxin on my
No.
Providers who use digoxin use it for one of two reasons. There is a group of people who just use it so that they have no risk of violating the federal abortion ban. If you induce the demise before you do the procedure, nobody's going to say you did a live, whatever the federal government calls it, a partial birth abortion.
Whenever you're talking about fully intact fetuses in the context of fetal tissue procurement, those are situations where no feticide, like digoxin or potassium chloride, no chemical like that can be used to kill the fetus beforehand because that poisons the organs and the tissues.
Yeah.
And so in that case, it's prima facie evidence of born alive infant cases.
And it's like, you know why that's happening? And I knew why it was happening. It's because the electrical current was, the nodes were still firing. And I don't know if that constitutes it's technically dead or it's alive. It had a face. It wasn't completely torn up. And its nose was very pronounced. It had eyelids. And its mouth was pronounced. And then, since the fetus was so intact, she said, okay, well, this is a really good fetus and it looks like we can procure a lot from it. We're going to procure a brain. So, the moment I hear something like, that means we're going to have to cut the head open. We're going to have to cut the head open. So, it's like, okay, so what you do is you go through the face. I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do this. And she takes the scissors and she makes a small incision right here and goes, I would say, to maybe a little bit through the mouth. And she's like, okay, can you go the rest of the way? And I'm like, yes. And I didn't want to do this. And so she gave me the scissors and told me that I have to cut down the middle of the face. And I can't even describe what that feels like. And I remember picking it up and finishing going through the rest of the face. And Jessica picking up the brain and putting it in the container with the media and parafilming it. And she left and she's like, okay, you can clean it up. And I'm just sitting there like, what did I just do? And that was the moment I knew I couldn't work for the company anymore. And that was still, it was, even if it's going to be good, if that could have been the cure for some kind of disease, then I wish, even if it was, I wish I still wouldn't have done it. I didn't want to be that person. And I remember picking, it was a male, I remember picking him up with the gloves because it was too heavy. The pie dish was this, and he was big, the pie dish, and I couldn't take it and put it in the strainer and put it in. I couldn't. It was just too big. And I opened the biohazard container and it's almost full. It's almost full. I'm holding him in my hands and oh my god, this is just, what am I doing? And I take him and I put him in, and I remember he got stuck on the lid. And it turned around and his buttocks was in the air and his 2 feet were dangling out, and I remember having to pick each one of his feet up and put him in the container and close the lid. And that was the hardest experience I've had there. I remember holding that fetus in my hands when everybody else was busy and started crying and opened the lid and put it back in. It's just really hard knowing that you're the only person who's ever going to hold that baby. It's weird because I always think of all these scenarios that could happen. I held it, I'm like, man, this could have grown up to be... And I always think about things like that. If this could be a lawyer, this could be a firefighter, this could be the next president. I wonder what... Because you can tell the sex sometimes. I wonder if this, what it would like. I can imagine, I wonder at age 3 if she would like to color. Or things like that, I wonder what it would look like, her mom or her dad, or things like that. I feel like it's a waste of life. And it's sad that so many people view it as a mistake. Because it's not. I mean, life isn't a mistake. I mean, getting pregnant it be an accident, but it's not a mistake.